What is up, guys? This is Kobe here, and welcome back to another video. And I haven't recorded a video in about 3 weeks or so, ever since the news of NAVER's downfall. I've really just been looking at seeing what was going to happen to our NAVER accounts, as well as some of progressing on this backup Nexon account, which I've gotten some pretty substantial progression on. I'll go over that in a minute though, but before then I'm just really going to talk about what all has happened these past few weeks, and then I'll get to what I've gotten done on this account and what has happened for me to progress as much as I have on this account at the current moment. So there was, the end of October, we had the announcement on the Nexon NAVER stuff going on, with NAVER accounts ending on November 30th and whatnot. So ever since then, people have started sending tickets, and these were tickets asking really more so if it was possible for foreigners with NAVER accounts to be able to verify with a Nexon account. It was possible to make a Nexon account, and anyone can make a Nexon account, but really the problem which comes with the Nexon account is verifying one. And verifying something is something that can really only be done by Korean users, because you need an IPIN or a phone number or credit card exclusive to Korea. And if you were outside of Korea as a Korean, then you had to have some sort of thing that, honestly, this is so tough for me to describe. Holy shit. That you had to go to like certain places to get whatever Korean credentials you need to re-verify yourself. It was very difficult to do so outside of Korea, but if you were in Korea, if you are Korean, lived there at one point, then it wouldn't be impossible to do it. It would just be a bit harder than usual. But anyway, come I think like November 4th or 5th, we did get a ticket response that was basically saying that it wasn't really going to be possible. But of course, there was a lot of like hope for everything right there. But at the moment we got that ticket, I basically figured that we were done for. And for the most part, I was right. Not even for the most part, I was completely right about that. We were basically done for. There was nothing we could do about our accounts. We wouldn't really hear an official confirmation of that until the 16th, but I wasn't expecting any good news from that. And around that time, November 4th, that was when we were getting the haste event in KMS, and I figured I wasn't gonna let that go to waste. I knew we were gonna lose our NAVER accounts, so I figured I might as well start working on this Nexon account. Now, it does suck because I was very limited on character slots, but I did get a lot of work done. Over the past couple weeks, I managed to upgrade my Maple Union to 1570. My main character is currently at 175 because I'm not really bugging on leveling it at the moment. But all like my mules and stuff, I have 2 level 200 mules, and they're the most important ones I need. I've got Mercedes for 5% cooldown reduction and Mechanic for 20% buff duration. I do plan on doing more level 200s in the future. The next ones will be Phantom for 4% Meso Obtain, and the one after that will be Unwool for the 5% critical damage. But other than that, I got some nice little links done, and I figured I would just get all the links at level 140 as well. I have an Arc, because Arc link skill is really good, level 145. I've got a Kinesis, because Kinesis link skill is good, level 145. Auron, this was the first character I made because I knew the Auron link would really help my mules at the lower levels a lot, so it was super nice having Auron. Got that to 141. Evan, during haste, this is the best link skill to have. Like, it's better than anything else you could possibly get, just because runes are so good during haste. I've got that at 141. Demon Avenger for the damage boost and the boss damage on the Union. That's also at 141. And then my last 2 characters, I got a Demon Slayer for the boss damage and a Luminous for the IED. And they all basically look the same. There's Necro gear, Von Leon cape, all the boss set stuff and whatnot. There is no variety in any of these characters. And if you're wondering why I got all these characters to 141, is that we'll probably have an event in the future that will be handing out extreme growth potions, which are items that can only be used at level 141 or higher. which is, you know, an item that gives you somewhere between 1 to 10 levels by random. There will also be events that have the same function, kind of like how Night Market had it with the bonking, 17th anniversary had it with the swimming, and the full moon party had with the wand and the fairy magic shit. I never really did much of that, but I am really more so preparing my characters for that. And I also funded them quite a bit. All of them have like 148 Star Force. They're all like 3k stat. I really don't have to touch them much more until level 200. The only thing I would touch would just be to give it CRA. At least 3 set CRA, maybe a Fafnir weapon. I would give it hat, top, and bottom, because you know the 50 attack side effect is super good. But that'd just be the last thing I would update as far as equips go on those characters. But other than that, that's really about it. And of course, you know, I funded the Mercedes and Mechanic much more. They were like stupid strong with over 6.5k stat each. Is because it was a fresh account and they definitely did need more than the average damage to be able to grind well in order to hit 200 fast enough. So I had a lot of funds from the Nexon account. But that was really about that. Anyway, let me go ahead and talk about this main character though. This main character has made I've made some ridiculous purchases on this, and that most of that wouldn't have been possible without swiping. Yes, I did swipe. I did say I was going to in my last video that I swiped as much as I said I would. No, I swiped more. Not exactly according to plan, but I swiped a little bit more than double the amount I expected to. I might have spent a total of $1,200 on getting what I need to get for this character. And I got even more than that because I have received some pretty fucking massive donations I'll get into in a bit too. But honestly, at this point, as far as a free-to-play progression standpoint goes, at this point, I honestly don't really care as much for it anymore. I would have definitely continued playing free-to-play on the NAVER account if we still stuck with the NAVER accounts, because, you know, it was free-to-play up until that point. Technically, the account still is free-to-play, and I wanted to get to Black Mage as a sitting free-to-play player, because I figured that would have been a massive accomplishment, and I was already so far ahead of the game, I didn't want to give in to swiping just yet. But because I have to restart, and I'm going to lose a bunch of my items, granted I could transfer them over, but I'm going to lose a bunch of my items, like my emblem and all my rings, and like a heart and all that stuff. Some items are worth billions. It would definitely cost billions trying to keep the emblem again, that's for sure. I just figured I'm gonna need a head start. I'm gonna swipe. The initial plan was to swipe for a vac pet and 2 pieces of mazel gear and call it a day. But things were just going for such a good deal that I couldn't just stop at such a little amount. So here's what I got with what I swiped. I got my pets. I got a vac pet, and I got 2 dream pets. And then I ended up getting 2 pieces of mazel gear. I got this eye accessory with 15% strength, and this ring with 18% strength. Leftover money, I got another ring with 18% strength that has drop rate on it. So I got 1 piece of drop rate, so I'll be rocking 40% drop now. And then the most important thing that I swiped for was a new weapon. I still currently have my old weapon on the NAVER account, which I plan on selling very soon. But this is the weapon we're looking at. We're looking at a weapon with a much better flame than, not much better, but it is slightly better. It's actually insane how I was even able to find a weapon with a better flame to begin with. And it's also 18 stars. The main pot could be classified as unique because there are technically no legendary exclusive lines on it, which is a bit of a shame. But the bonus potential is 24% attack. And the soul is a magnificent Damien soul with 12% crit rate. And I will be needing that crit rate actually because I won't have a Deep Dark Ring and I won't have Phantom Link. Technically you'll have Phantom Link whenever you get more character slots, but the reason why I didn't continue working on Union more is because this game's lack of character slots and I wasn't going to pay for those because those get expensive and hardly worth it. So that's basically that. I'm pretty happy about the purchase of this weapon. I was thinking about getting a new weapon ever since I saw how good spears could be, going upwards to like 25 or 30 bill, because this spear was like 27 bill, and absolutely insane. This is not the spear that I was talking about in my previous video, because the spear I was talking about in my previous video was actually better than this one right here. But that spear sold for the exact same price as this one, which makes sense because that was a really fucking good spear. So I'm not even fronting about it, so it's all good. I will more than likely be using the spear and not even touching the spear at all, like ever. Like this looks like it's good enough to run Black Mage with, given I get the levels, but that's really just how that plan goes. But that's really it. Like I said, $1,200, a lot of money. I won't be spending too much more, if any at all, because I just wanted to make that one-time purchase to kind of move up there. But yeah, as I was saying before, I'm not really caring about what people say or view of my progression at this point anymore, because I really like I just really like to do things at my own pace now. I've recently been making videos saying I'm doing this as a free-to-play, but I'm really more so like doing content with other people. I've been helping getting like loans for the equips I got on the NAVER account while also paying them back. Something that I know a lot of people can't exactly do. But what some people might have to understand is that I'm not exactly making the content on this channel, at least recently, for it to be followed one-to-one. Because I know some people like to delegitimize the progression, talking about how I'm getting quote-unquote carried by people for bosses, when really I'm just doing my part in boss runs. I'm taking loans for items that I can't afford at the time and then paying them back later once I get the money, which is what. It doesn't even matter to me anymore, to be honest. Like, I legitimately don't care. I just like to play the game at my own pace and whatnot, and that's really just how it's gonna be. I also don't have an emblem, but we'll get to that in a bit. Really, as you could tell, like especially this year, more of my videos, I've really been taking like the route of doing video series, or just a series of, I guess, progression, which I find the most fun in doing. Because I haven't really been making too many guides lately, and the guides that I have made are either probably they provide a bit of misinformation, which really goes about like the class guides that I've made. I've noticed, like, as far as YouTube goes for me, and you guys have noticed that I haven't really uploaded as much. It's just that I've lost a lot of the same passion I've had years back. I really don't feel like the guides I make nowadays have as much love put into it as the guides I did back then. Which really does add a fault to like all of the class guides I've made, where I did put a lot of time into it, but was it put in with a lot of love or like just care for it? Probably not, because I feel like when I made all these class guides, ever since even the Cadena guide, I was really stressing it, and I was just like, I kind of don't want to work on this anymore, you know. So I figured from here on out, those guides, they have a lot of like misinformation and whatnot, and I think that's a bit dangerous to kind of share at this one any further. So I feel like any of my guides, not just my class guides, but a couple of boss guides I made as well, like Lucen and Will, they have a lot of misinformation in them, and I'm probably just gonna go ahead and delete them. I know I'm gonna keep up my training guide because I legitimately fucking love my training guide that I've made. But as far as my class guides go, I'm just not digging them anymore. And then as far as future new class releases, don't expect a guide from any of those either. I know this is kind of going south with the video topic, but I just wanted to bring that up because I honestly feel like I just been losing some bit of passion in just making content. I did regain some of that doing the Scania series. I legitimately love doing the Scania series. Back when, you know, I was releasing the season 1 episodes, they were coming out every day, every other day, whatnot. Just as soon as I could get on Scania, I was just waiting for once I finish my dailies on Luna just so I can hop on Scania and start recording, because I was actually legitimately excited to be able to record it. But when it just comes to making guides and stuff, I'm just like, this feels like a chore, and I don't really want to have that kind of content. I love the Scania series so much that I didn't really want to progress more in Scania because I wanted to focus more on my main character. So I figured I would kind of do a Scania series approach on my main and turn that into Road to Endgame. So with Road to Endgame, I know that those uploads haven't really been consistent, but for the most part, I enjoy doing that more than I would maybe like making a guide over some shit and whatnot. But for the most part, I don't really consider myself much of a guide YouTuber anymore, even though most people know me for my guides. I just don't think I have what it takes to put in any passion for guides anymore. If I find it, I'll make some more. Like if I feel like I'm making a new training guide, I'll do that. But a new training guide these days, with how map changes and stuff have happened, is gonna take so much fucking research, it's insane. So I'm not honestly so sure if I want to even do that. It's just like this big fucking project that if I would have to release in January, I'd probably have to start on right now or within the next week. So it's just, I just want to play the game at this point. I want to play the game, and I want to kind of record a little bit of a log of what I've been doing in the game, and that's kind of my passion for it at the moment. But back on topic, the big purchases don't end there, because I've gotten some donations in game. And these aren't just little itty witty bitty donations. These are fucking giant colossal donations. You might have noticed that I have 372,000 Maple points right now. That's all from a donation. That's not even all of it. So basically what happened was, when I was streaming my mechanic grinding to 200 on this account, there was someone in my chat asking if I wanted over 30 bill on the Zenith server. My burnt brain apparently didn't think it was on KMS or whatever reason, so I had a friend of mine come in and say, yeah, I'll take that shit, because like I really thought he was just messing around. But next thing you know, this dude screenshots his inventory. He's got like 37 bill on Zenith, and I'm just like, bro, this dude wasn't fucking playing. He actually just gave him 37 bill for free, and because he wasn't able to get that unless he was in my stream, he's like, I'm gonna split it in half with you. And then of course with tax rate and shit and whatnot, I ended up with like 17 bill. And then of course with that money, I did help out a few other people purchase whatever P-Socks I needed to purchase to transfer to their Nexon accounts from their NAVER accounts, and after that I ended up with like 15 bill. 15 bill on a server which the Maple Point rate wasn't even that far off from Luna. So once I finish transferring all that money, which I will within the next couple hours, I'm going to end up having like 550 or 560k Maple points, which is a lot of fucking Maple points. And that will essentially transfer to about 13.8 to 14 bill in Luna, which is insane. And then on top of that, I had a really fucking awesome loyal viewer of mine hand me like 20 bill in 167 core gemstones, which this character is really currently sitting on about 229 at the moment, but he gave me a really fucking nice awesome handout, and I really couldn't have thanked him even more. Of course I didn't keep all of the 20 bill. I wanted to have some of my homies eat as well. I ended up keeping like 6.5 bill of the 20 bill. So in total, the amount of money that I've pretty much gotten from people, I feel like ranges to about 21 to 22 bill for free, which is absolutely insane. And I honestly couldn't be any more thankful of all the awesome people that have given me these donos. So now when you really think about it, you come to look at just what's been happening with all the foreigners that have been playing KMS, and when you look at the KMS English Discord, at this point, there's pretty much a goodbye channel, and it's just people talking about, you know, they don't really want to play Maple anymore, their accounts are getting removed. They figured, you know, it's time for their Maple chapter in life to come to an end, it's time to move on, and so on and so forth. And I know these are people that were really passionate about playing and progressing on the server as well. So it does suck a lot to see that they are going to be leaving and heading out because, well, I mean, they don't really want to play GMS. They think GMS is flaws that they can't go back to. But for the most part, it does start to hit, and I'm pretty sure it's going to start hitting even more once I start breaking down and transferring all of my equips on the NAVER account, which I will be doing very, very soon, by the way. But again, nobody expected this to happen. It just came just like that. Even myself having to restart from hitting 7.6k union so close to 8k is a bit of a shame. But going in with the donations that I got, with most of that money, 13.7 bill, I bought a new belt. A fucking 10-star Tyrant belt with 21% strength main pot, 12% dex main pot, so that helps a lot as well. And the bonus pot is 2-line unique of 12 attack and 11 attack. 12 attack is pretty close, but I would say slightly worse than 5% strength. And 11 attack is pretty much equivalent to about 4% strength. So that's a really awesome bonus pot. I do wish the 12 attack was 5% strength, but I'm not bugging. I'm really not bugging at all. And then the next item I plan to purchase with the rest of the donation money I received was a new face. I wanted to get a 20-star Red Meister face. I wanted it to have a really nice potential, bonus potential, flame, especially a flame, because I'm trying to get one that doesn't have a peace off limit, and in order to get one for that, you have to get a face that's like never been flamed with a flame at all. Like, it would have to come with a really good flame from craft, you know. So it is a bit difficult to find those, but I will be patient for as long as possible, and I will wait and see if a new face will drop that is worth purchasing. But that's really just how that is right now. For other gear, I plan on, I plan on getting Oz rings. I'm going to sell my spear on the NAVER account for about 12 bill, which I think you could sell for that much because of how good the flame is on it. And with that 12 bill, I plan to get a Ring of Restraint 4 and a Risk Taker 4. I think in total I can get both the rings for maybe like 9 bill, and then the rest of the money is just going towards gemstones. I've got 2.6 bill saved on the NAVER account at the moment, and I'm gonna get much more money after I sell off all the gear from like my boss meals, especially my bishop. My bishop's gonna make me a lot of money because bishop stuff had some really nice potentials and flames on it, and the weapon was also really good. So I'm gonna profit a lot from the bishop, which also means I won't be playing a bishop anymore going forward, which does kind of suck, but it is what it is. There's really nothing I can do about that. All the money that I'm going to be spending, aside from the 2 Oz rings, are going to be going towards node stones. I'm going to break down all of my characters' nodes and just straight up craft node stones with it. The amount of node stones I'm expecting to craft across from all of my characters is probably around like 700. And then with the money I'm going to have, which will probably be like 7, 8 bill, maybe even 10 bill if everything literally sells, is all just going towards the node stones. So that's going to be maybe like buying 2,000 of them. Best case scenario, I'm expecting to go into this account with 3,000 node stones to use, which should be good enough to max most of my skills. But if it's not, then it is what it is. I just want to get all the nodes out of the way, so whenever I start grinding, I start getting these node drops, I can just sell them. Because once I start making money, I need to make money for the emblem. Because I'm expecting a DMT in January, and I gotta grind. I have to grind, I gotta make a lot of money. I know I can make a lot of money if I grind a lot. It's just really a matter of how much, you know, time it takes, and of course how lucky my emblem will end up being on DMT when I try to cube it for legendary main pot and bonus pot. That's really it for now though. Once I make the full official transition to this account, I'll talk more about this account's plans and really more about just how I'm going to handle things and what's going to get done. But for now, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Just some things to note, you know, I'm no longer free to play, which is a bit of a shame. I know people like seeing how far I can get as a KMS free to play player. I'm not really like that figure anymore. So if that's a shame to some of y'all, I'm sorry, but I'm just progressing the way I want to progress now. And I still want to give a thanks and a shout out to everyone who did play KMS, everyone who was in Ancestry, people who I went to GPQ with, people who I've bossed with, people who don't plan on restarting and have given their items and mesos to just the community in general. You guys are awesome, and it does suck seeing a lot of like the people that I used to talk with a lot just start leaving, you know, the Discord and stuff. Maybe they're going to be less active because, you know, there won't be KMS to play with them anymore. Of course, there is a handful of people who do have Nexon accounts. There will still be a handful of foreigners playing the game, but for the most part, Ancestry is going to be rather inactive. We are having our last GPQ tonight, and then after that, that's when I'm going to start breaking down all of my Dark Knight's equips, and I'm going to transfer it to this Dark Knight. As far as the entire account goes, I'm aiming towards pretty much transferring everything on Wednesday, which is here in like 4 days. So that's it. I can't believe we are ending another chapter of another account. I know one last thing I wanted to do before that happens though is have both of my Dark Knights meet in person, because I've never had that happen before. I know it's such a little thing, but it is how it is. It is what it is. Anyway, that's it though. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And again, thanks to everyone who has stuck with me this far, because we are about to begin a new and potentially our final chapter going forward on KMS. We are going to make it to endgame. I told people I'm going to fucking make it to the end. I'm going to fucking kill Black Mage. I don't care what it takes to do it. I'm striving for it.